Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. A very warm welcome to today's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. Today I want to talk about Lanterns. Is the HBO show Lanterns now in development really that much of an original idea? Is this James Gunn's original idea? Obviously, Damon Lindelof and his team are developing this show from an idea apparently from James Gunn and Tom King. Let's kind of take our minds back to the DCEU. Do you remember when David S. Goyer was going to write and direct a Green Lantern Corps movie, which was going to be, it was described as Lethal Weapon in outer space, with an older Hal Jordan and, a green and a raw John Stewart. So how different is David S. Goyer's concept to what Gunn and Tom King have come up with here? Well, clearly what we're going to get here is a cheaper kind of grounded HBO True Detective show. We've already been told that. You know my thoughts and feelings about not doing an epic, awesome, big-scale cinematic Green Lantern Corps movie. The Green Lantern Corps, that universe, as I've said many a times, is like Star Wars in the DC universe. It's a universe within a universe. But WB, Warner Brothers Discovery, can't afford to make an epic, cinematic Green Lantern movie. This is the truth of the situation, and this is why we're getting this grounded HBO show. Now, Penguin is doing really well on Max and on HBO because it's part of a grounded Batman universe. You can get away with a slow, cheap HBO Penguin show as part of this The Batman Matt Reeves crime saga. But can you get away with a grounded, slow-paced, darker Green Lantern series? It's very, very interesting, isn't it? Because people have certain expectation from different iconic characters. And with Penguin being part of this crime saga, it makes perfect sense to do this. It's kind of something in the middle to fill the gap between the Batman and the Batman 2. I sure hope they're going to call it something else other than the Batman 2. We'll have to wait and see for that. I think Lanterns is a huge risk. I'm not saying it's not going to be any good. I'm not saying you can't get a great Lanterns HBO style show. But is there going to be great VFX in this series? Are we going to see them being lanterns? Are we going to see them using their rings? Or are they just using their detective skills? Because if you don't see enough Green Lantern Corps cool stuff, if you don't see some of the other characters, people are going to be upset. Again, you can get away with not having Batman in that Penguin show, because already you can tell it's so good with Colin Farrell's Oz and Christine Milotti's Sophia Falcone. It's so full. You don't really need Batman. Don't be surprised if you do see Bruce Wayne in that finale very, very quickly. We'll have to wait and see for that. But it's not needed. You don't need Batman in that television show. Don't get me wrong, it would be great to see Rob Pattinson turn up in that series. Of course it would. But there's certain expectations when you do Green Lantern. Say what you want about that Ryan Reynolds movie, but as I said yesterday, the OR stuff, the stuff in space, the Sinestro stuff worked. That stuff out of space, the galactic stuff, was awesome in terms of that movie. If people don't get to see a Sinestro, if they don't get to see the other characters, if they don't get to see OR, they're going to be very disappointed. There's going to be certain expectations from people about this series, and the reality is, because it's this kind of true detective kind of Lantern show, I think there's a risk of disappointing the audience.